Let's build another table in Excel. This one's going to calculate interest on an investment. You're probably familiar in algebra with this formula, A equals principal times 1 plus the interest rate raised to the number of years. And essentially, we're going to build a table that will be doing that calculation for us, but build it up numerically rather than algebraically. So let me take that out of there. And we'll assume we're going to start with $8,000. And this would be year one. And we're going to have an interest rate of 1%. Let's go ahead while we're thinking about it. Change that 8,000, format it for money, for dollars. Now our interest rate is, oops. Okay. Get in the right cell there before I start typing in my formula. My interest is going to be the value of the investment. And then I'm going to multiply it by the interest rate. And this is going to be 1%. So I'm going to earn $80 in interest at the end of the year, assuming I've got a 1% interest rate and I'm compounding annually. So at the end of the year, what I have in my bank account is the original $8,000 plus the $80. And so when next year comes around, I'm starting the next year with $8,080. If I take this cell here and drag it down, I don't have to type in the formula a second time, because as I dragged it down, the original formula, C4 times 1%, becomes C5 times 1%. So I'm doing the same calculation, but on the larger value. And then I can drag this cell down, and again, it's updated it, the $8,080 plus $80.80. Now notice my interest went up from one year to the next. That's the beauty of compound interest. As I accrue interest, I'm earning interest on larger and larger amounts. Now to complete the table, I can grab these three cells and drag down. And then I can see, let's see how many years have gone by. Cell plus 1. And I can drag that down. So after 12 years, my $8,000 original investment has grown to $9,000.14. Now we can make this table a little more robust by putting in some parameters. So over here, let's take the interest rate. And let's go ahead and wrap that. And let's see, we can put in a value here. So we're starting with 1%. And we can format that as percent. That would be traditional. And just to make things kind of pop out here, select these two cells here. Let's put a box around them. And, oh, what did I do there? Okay, remember, anytime you do something in Excel, if something odd happens, remember you've got this undo button. There we go. So apparently I copied over rather than just selecting the two cells, and I just did that again. Okay, there we go. Never be afraid to try something, because you can always change it. And I'm going to add some color to that cell. And, oh, and let's go ahead and float these numbers. Set them into cells. There's now this good. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is where I did my calculation on the interest, I'm going to change my formula. So instead of 1%, I have a cell reference to the 1%, and I'm going to F4 that cell reference. nothing changed in my table. But now, if I change the interest rates, say instead of 1%, I get a 2% interest rate, and my table updates. Hey, it updated so much that my number's bigger than my column. I've got $10,000 now. So double the interest rate. I've grown now from $8,000 to $10,000 rather than $8,000 to $9,000. If the interest rate is lower, 0.5%, it updates. But notice now I might want to do a little tweaking here. That 0.5% is displaying as 1% because it's rounding. So I want to increase some decimal places here. There we go. That's going to be a little more useful. And we can also change the starting value. We can make that a parameter also. So I started with $8,000. Let's round that. And let's put in the $8,000. And both of those, we can do a little formatting here. Let's put a box around it. Let's change the 8,000 to being formatted for money. And it's a parameter, so let's put some color in there. I like to make those pop out. And then my starting value, I'll change that from being 8,000 to just being the cell reference here. Okay, and again, nothing changed because it's still $8,000. But I can say, if I'm starting with $10,000, everything updates. Again, I'm going to make these cells a little wider. Oh, apparently I typed in $100,000 rather than $10,000. And again, easy to change, and everything updates. Okay, so that gives you an idea of some things you can do in Excel. Very powerful tool.